So it's already Black Clover 340 fan translations are out. I wanted to wait to the officials, but because everything's like back a day and tomorrow is going to be a holiday out here in the States, I won't be able to do as much, and that's why I have to do it off the fan translations. But this chapter doesn't really have too much to go about, and also I'm sorry y'all for making this video very long. I know the first part's going to be chapter 339 and then the second part's going to be chapter 340. I'm gonna get the video in sections, so if you want to just hear my 340 review, you could. These chapters were good. I really enjoyed them. We got to see more about the land of the rising sun, as well possible lures as to how Asta might bring problems to the land of the rising sun, as well as seeing Asta get whooped by Yami's sister is something funny. It shows that Yami could have been so much stronger if he stayed in the land of the rising sun, in my opinion. Regardless, let's get into my Black Clover 339 and 340 review. First of all, if you like anime, manga reviews, discussion, spoilers, and theories, definitely hit the subscribe button. Switch your with some false copyright strikes. So let's get this channel back to 5,000. I appreciate all your support. Chapter 339. There's certain things I wanted to make sure that I get the clear translation. Even though the fan translations are pretty on point lately, I still would like to get the officials. This chapter gives a lot of insight as to Asta's training, as well as a hint into what might happen in this training arc. I think we're going to get like a full training arc, and then there's going to be a problem that Asta has to solve. We also get an insight as well as to Yami's relationship with his sister. So the chapter basically starts off where Black Clover 338 ended. Asta figures out that Yami's sister is Ichika. And yes, I know Yami has a different first name, but if the officials are still calling him Yami, I'm gonna call him Yami. It's still hard for me to not call him Yami at this point. We're so deep into the series to call him another thing. It's kind of hard for us, you know? But Ichika is Yami's sister. She says something very interesting, which I will make another video full on because this is a huge other topic. But she basically says that she doesn't care about Yami, and it looks like Yami feels the same way as well. Makes you wonder, like, what exactly is the family dynamic between Yami and, you know, his clan? I think it's not on good terms. It makes sense why they didn't look for him when he went to the Clover Kingdom, because it's kind of weird, like how his family just never searched for him, or they just moved on. Obviously there's something there, there's something negative between Yami's family relationship and him. And then you see a lot of people realizing that Asta is a foreigner because of the whole ruckus and the whole scene that Ichika did with the bandits. Tension is brought upon them. I was wondering why they didn't notice this before, but probably they were trying to be a little bit low-key. It's still kind of weird to me. I know Tabata's doing this on purpose to kind of give us a hint, like a foreshadow, especially what happens later on in this chapter. But still, if they really wanted to hide the fact that Asta was a foreigner, they would have definitely covered his hair up a little bit in that sense. That's my opinion. So Ryu basically figures out that, hey, the townspeople are realizing Asta is a foreigner, so he grabs Asta and Ichika and they run. I think that's a funny scene because it kind of shows how Ryu is actually looking out for Asta. Later on, we figure out the importance of that scene, especially when Ichika kind of tells why she doesn't like Asta. Ryu, Asta, and Ichika heads to the master healer, or the go-to healer, I'm guessing, in the land of the rising sun. We're introduced with a lot of fish, which is crazy. And the guy's name is Fumito. I'm not even going to attempt to say the last name. I'm sorry, y'all. But like I said before in the spoilers, Fumito in Spanish and Portuguese means little flame or flame. And then I checked the name in Japanese and it means sentence and. So I wonder if Tabata is setting a statement with this new character's designs, because literally he looks like the typical Japanese person walking around Tokyo, like the medical student in Japan. I wonder what hints Tabata is giving us with this character. You see Libe falling out of one of the fish, and Fumito says he never treated anything like him before, so it took him quite a while. You know, that sentence kind of gives little hints to maybe there isn't devils in the land of the rising sun. I'm pretty sure there probably is, but maybe they're actually doing the whole Japanese folklore, where instead of it's devils, they probably have like evil spirits in a sense. Well, devils in general, like demons that look kind of like the devil. That's more like Western, and we're seeing that the Clover Kingdom in that continent is more the Western world, and this is obviously Eastern world based on Japan. So I wonder if there's like spirits here, and also like how he actually was able to heal him or knew how to heal him. So Libe has the same scar as Asta. I think it's kind of cool if you think about it. Their relationship relationship is awesome. I really liked it. It shows how far the series has come. Asta is so happy that 𝚬𝚗's safe and alive, and he felt like getting split was very lonely. 𝚬𝚗 said the same thing too. Seeing the food, it's so Japanese. It's so cool to see how these little small details indicating that the land of the rising sun is Japanese influence just makes it so awesome. So far, I love this little mini arc that we're having. We figure out that Fumito is also a cooking genius. At this part, when Asta is starting to eat, he's starting to relax. He says he really has to go back as soon as he can to fight Lucius. Obviously, he has Lucius on his mind. He just lost. He barely survived, which is kind of crazy because if like you're seeing how strong these people are, instinctively, yeah, you might want to train a little bit with them to get a little bit stronger. Like I understand why he wants to rush back because he wants to save his people and he thinks that Lucius can attack at any moment, but Ryu said a couple of times that, hey, Asta, Lucius is not going to attack. So that part to me just shows how Asta's stubborn, how he was always stubborn before, even though he's told, hey, no, don't do it, don't do this. He wants to do what he wants to do. So that part stayed true to his character. Asta asking Ryu, is there a way to get back to the Clover Kingdom? That's kind of teased that I think Ryu does know a way to get to the Clover Kingdom within a couple of days, maybe in a couple of hours, because Asta basically asked twice to Ryu how he can go back home, and other people's predictions and the history behind Ryu's name does have indication that he might have some type of vessel, boat that could get him within a couple of days or hours to the Clover Kingdom, and I think that's what's going to be the case. Ryu says to Asta, Lucius is playing for keepsakes. That means that, you know, he's not going to be playing around. If you go back, you're dead. It's simple as that. Asta wants to try regardless. That's just how he is. He's going to keep trying and trying. You see Asta's affection and love for Sister Lily. Even at this moment, he's thinking about Sister Lily. He's not thinking about the other people getting attacked, the other people in the Clover Kingdom getting destroyed. He's thinking of Sister Lily. And if you think about it, out of everybody that was at that scene, the person that's been closest to Asta has been Sister Lily. She's somebody that raised him. Even though Asta has a unacquired love towards her, she's basically like a mother figure in his life. Pause. I'm not trying to say anything nasty. Ryu again tells Asta, it's fine, you have time. Asta is saying, you know, I've been training for a long time. He's having a lot of self-doubt. He seems like he's in despair. We haven't seen Asta have this much self-doubt before since like the very start of the story when he didn't get his grimoire. It's reminiscing to that, and I really like how Tabata is kind of pulling those ideas back into the story of how Asta was at the beginning. You know, even though he has all these powers now, at the end he felt so hopeless and so weak because he got defeated within like a couple seconds. He got one shot. As Asta is freaking out, Ichika just slaps Asta right in the face, and she's like, I have no idea what happened to you nor the people around you, and I don't care if you die. You're alive right now because of Ryu and Fumito. She has that intense aura, the same type of way Yami has. It must run in the family if you think about it, because Ryu and Fumito are just kind of like, whoa, you didn't have to hit him that hard. This part is what I was saying at the beginning. Ichika says, you're a foreigner. We believe they bring disaster. You know, that's kind of a foreshadow as to what possibly might come in the future with Black Clover. I think that Asta will unfortunately probably bring one of the paladins to the land of the rising sun. Somehow they're going to figure out that he's alive. I think that's possibly the case because her saying that, Tabata didn't write that for no reason. But also it does show that foreigners have came to the land of the rising sun before. Maybe there's a reason why one food product from the 𝚲𝚘𝚙𝚎 village that Asta grew up with is also in the land of the rising sun. It shows that there's probably some type of trade there. I wouldn't be surprised if whoever came before brought devastation to the land of the rising sun. So who knows, that might be Asta's father, that might be somebody else, but there's something there. Ichika, she basically tells Asta, don't take people's kindness for granted. Ryu may look like a incomparable foreigner to you, but he is the shogun. He's the head leader of this country. If you're going to ignore my lord's warning and waste your life, I'll just cut you right now. And Asta gets a quick reality check saying, thank you for saving me. You know, it's a humbling experience for him because he started realizing that, hey, yeah, I just got saved by somebody. I should be thanking this guy. I had to repay him in a way. And Ryu's like, no, don't worry. If Lucius throws his weight around, it'll give them trouble too. You know, because Lucius is trying to destroy the world. So of course, the shogun of a foreign country with his eyes knows what's going on. So he wants to make sure his kingdom and his people are alive. So Asta's probably the best bet in his opinion. At least trying to help him get stronger with the help of the 7 Ryuzen. I'm pretty sure he has a lot more faith in that than just Clover Kingdom's continent handling on its own, and then Lucius becomes the world leader. Ryu says Lucius has overwhelming strength, mana, and magic. If you're going to take take him on, he'll put you back against the wall in no time. If you don't want the fight to end up fast, you need 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚎𝚛. That's an interesting word. That's one of the main reasons why I waited to the officials come out, because the fan translations were saying something else. I want to go with the officials right now just to be on the safe side, also to support Tabata. So I'm gonna go with the officials way of saying this key power and just call it 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢. And Asta's like, oh, you mean that thing, like, you know, the thing that he saw Ichigo did. Ryuzen said, I don't have any magical power, just sit tight and focus, then try sensing her ki. Asta's seeing the ki. Ryuzen just saying that the ki is the natural flow of energy. It manipulates the body unconsciously and it can turn into Rokuyu. I think that said that right. Bear with me. On that purpose, the Ryukyu inside you will basically erupt all at once, and then 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢. And then you see Ichigo do a line with her Ryukyu. She cuts straight line with the bamboo. Ichigo is telling Asta, now you try. Fumito is basically the voice of reason, saying that Asta is not ready to do this. He's a foreigner. He doesn't know all these type of attacks. This is like a new style called Yujutsu, which is interesting. That's what they call the people of the land of the rising sun who can do this power. The only ones who can do this are you and these other Ryuzen 7. Asta is getting like a realization. He never thought of using ki that way, like in an offensive way. His was basically just sensing. He didn't think that he can weaponize it. And I've been saying that there was going to be a way to weaponize ki. I'm so happy I was correct on that prediction. It's kind of common sense it was going to happen, I'm not gonna lie, because ki, that power system, that power was never fully explained. It was just Yami saying that you can sense things. It makes sense that Yami wasn't able to master ki and all its functionalities because he left at a young age. This is cool when Asta comes back and then he's doing 𝙲𝚘𝚙𝚢 and Yami's like, whoa, that's so crazy. You could do things that people back in my homeland took forever to learn. I wouldn't be surprised if there's gonna be like a joke between them, because remember, Asta learned ki very relatively easily and Yami was like, man, you're creepy. So I wonder what he's gonna say once he see Asta learn this advanced ki in such a small amount of time. Also, it makes me wonder, like, is it possible Asta, the reason why he can learn ki so quickly is maybe his father was once one of the 7 Ryuzen? Who knows? Still, it's interesting because, you know, Ryu doesn't have magical power or mana either, so I don't know. Something's there. Ryu says, you saw how she used ki, right? You have that devil anti-magic flowing through you right now. Use that instead of Ryukyu. Sorry if I mispronounced that wrong, but I'm doing my best. You see a lot of spots in Asta, and somebody told me in the comments that, you know, Asta is basically not human anymore. And if you think about it, yeah, he's on the level that he's not really human because he has that double arm. He has that contract. So parts of him is not human. So it makes sense that anti-magic is flowing through him. With anti-magic flowing through him without even having the swords, I think basically through that arm is how Asta is able to have all that anti-magic flowing within him. So I wouldn't be surprised if that devil arm stays for the rest of the series. That's something I think is going to happen. And then Asta, he does the same moves as Ichigo. Fumito was like, wow, I wasn't really expecting anything. And then the bamboo splits. And even Ichigo was surprised. So it looks like Ichigo didn't have much faith in Asta, but she was doing it because Ryu told her to do it. She was surprised that Asta was able to do what she just did. And it kind of shows again, Asta is somewhat of a genius in a sense because he learns things so quickly. For other people, it take a lot harder to do what he did, but look what he just did. He learned this very quickly. So it makes me wonder, is this genetics that Asta is able to learn this? Weaponizing ki and just ki in general this easily? Ryu basically says, hey, the bamboo was grown with Ryukyu. I think that's basically mana, what they're saying. Ryu continues, you have a solid foundation. You just need to know how it's done more. Get out of there, pick up some more experience. Asta does what made us care so much about Asta. He goes and says thank you to somebody who was just so rude to him. So now on to 340. The beginning of chapter, you basically see Asta. He's been doing the whole ki attack and using it as a offensive force, and you see the bamboos disintegrate. That's a good thing. I told you guys before. The reason why Asta has that devil arm, obviously Asta is possessed by quote-unquote 𝚲𝚘𝚎𝚑, and he also has this anti-magical power now too. But I think the reason why Asta has that arm still is because Asta needs to generate the anti-magic without using his swords, because if he didn't have the anti-magic swords, he probably wouldn't be able to produce anti-magic like that because he doesn't have magic in a sense. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's in my opinion. Ryu and Fumito Fumito basically are astounded by Asta's progress and as well as how he gets the basics. But the only thing difference is that Asta needs battle practice with this. He needs to know how to use it whenever he wants. That's when Yami's sister Ichika comes in, and the fight between Asta and Ichika is crazy. However, it is needed because Asta needs to get this power down. He's basically defeating a god tier level villain in Black Clover. I mean, he has time magic. Somehow he infiltrated the Clover Kingdom for a long time. So Lucius is no joke. It's something that he really needs to get stronger. From what I've seen, this is one of the best ways for him to get strong. You see that throughout the battle between Ichika and Asta. The reason why she couldn't do so many really heavy blows is because Asta has anti-magic, and anti-magic was able to counter a little bit of her attacks. But if Asta didn't have anti-magic, like, he would have been done. So it shows that if Asta is able to master this with using anti-magic, essentially a lot of magical powers will be useless against him. Not just in Devil Union, but in his base form, you know? So that's really interesting in that point. Hopefully he can do like an anti-magic armor, like a lot of us have been saying for a long time. Somehow with the anti-magic, he makes an armor. I mean, he already did it with the Devil Union. It's kind of like he has a devil armor already, but I would love to see that. Ryu says that you have to battle Ichika, and Asta realizes that up until now, she hasn't been serious. He goes automatically into black mode, which is cool to see that, you know, black mode's still around, and it's awesome to see that Asta in black mode, he has the two wings. So I like seeing this, especially after the last arc, how Asta and Liebe actually got together and became closer. But it's also good to see that black form's still being used. Maybe Asta is not using Devil Union because he doesn't want to be weak afterwards. I think Devil Union for Asta, even though it gets him very powerful, it's still a drawback because he can't use that for probably 30 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Let me know in the comments correctly, but I remember it was like 30 minutes, if not like a day or something. So I could see black mode being used a lot more. This is another thing that I was talking about. With Asta using black mode, he's able to have anti-magic around him. And Fumito is saying that just with anti-magic, Yojutsu's moves, which is basically using ki as an attack force, are completely ineffective against him. However, he is still weak towards physical attacks. So using ki as a way to fight, you can possibly see Asta still getting hurt moving forward with physical attacks. And I hope that him mastering ki could somehow make a barrier or a stronger defense so that moving forward when he's fighting people and his only weakness is physicality, because we saw that again with Lucifero, Asta can also counter it moving forward with the ki armor in a sense and nullify people's attacks and make them less powerful. Because at the end of the day, like, even if they don't use magical power, they can still hurt Asta because he's made out of flesh. So we'll see if Asta is able to do some type of way to make his strength stronger so he can withstand physical attacks moving forward. Ichika says, "Are you taking this serious?" And Asta says, "Yes." I don't know if Ichika knows that Asta has another level. Maybe she can sense with ki that he's still holding back a little bit, but she's like, the training we're gonna have is just like a real battle. If you don't give it your all, you will die. And she has that same Yami devil look. I'm telling y'all, their family has something to do with devils. I'm letting y'all know. Asta realized with his anti-magic, it's able to nullify Ichika's attacks a little bit, but still it sends him flying. And Ichika is just going straight for the charge. Right then off the bat, Asta takes out Yami's katana, which is an interesting way to fight Yami's sister using Yami's old weapon. You know, that's kind of cool if you think about it, but she's dodging all of Asta's attacks. I hope that Asta, when he gets to a level of mastery with ki, he can do the same thing. His agility is on another level because he can already kind of dodge using the ki already, but to master it and just do what everything that Ichika does will be interesting. Ryu says something interesting. Ryu says, by its own nature, anti-magic is drawn to erase magic. The name 𝚲𝚘𝚙𝚅 comes from the person who came up with the technique. Legend has it their Yojutsu was powerful enough that with one strike, it could serve terror in heaven, which is crazy if you think about it. Because imagine if Asta is able to master 𝚲𝚘𝚙 to a certain level where he uses anti-magic and like he just does one anti-magic attack and it literally could destroy the atmosphere in a sense. Like it literally can slice a part of the earth or make a mark on the earth. That would be amazing because we already seen Asta do like a anti-magic attack after 6 months training. Right before he fought Dante, he did a black divider and it was so big that it reached the heavens. Like I wonder if Asta can do a slice from the ground, could reach further than that and possibly cut the ozone a little bit. That would be interesting. Asta gets kicked really hard by Ichika and it sends him flying. Ryu is basically just praising anti-magic because by now Asta has been hit a couple of times by Ichika, and we learn later on in the chapter that not many people can say that and still be conscious. But Asta has been nullifying the attacks and also kind of defending himself. He tried to attack but hasn't been able to land anything on her. And Ryu was like, you know, it's tough to hit Asta when he's concentrating, but there are times when he lets himself relax, and that's what she's aiming for. It's best to bet that Lucius is aiming for that too. That's something that most likely anybody who has done martial arts, you know that there's a moment when you feel a little bit relaxed, even in a fight, or if you fight in general, you have that moment of relaxation, and that's the moment when you lose everything. So moving forward, I know Asta's gonna be 100% on guard. Ryu is like, Lucius has the strongest time magic and soul magic, so instead of facing that head on, just fend him off until you find an opening, and that's the instant you maximize your attack. So maybe with Ki moving forward, Asta's gonna be doing the same thing too, where he's gonna be analyzing the person, and then he's gonna see their biggest weakness and attack full on there. So it looks like Asta actually started to get a relaxed a little bit, because he just noticed attack from Ichika and he was like, whoa, I barely survived that. She attacked and Asta blocked it. However, you see her cut half of the bamboo in the background. That is so crazy. And then Asta gets a direct hit in the stomach by Ichika. She kicks him, but she kicks him so hard that he gets out of black form. That is crazy. Asta's all he's thinking about is like, I have to master this. And he's like, wow, this is amazing strength. I want to know more about it. Even in Double Union, he probably couldn't do much. He's basically saying, man, I'm passing out. Ichika is surprised that Asta's still conscious. Asta's just thinking, I have to know more. And he goes, not yet. Ichika does the foul move and just hits him on the ground. And she's like, spare me your blubbering nonsense, you fool. And Ryu's like, you didn't have to hit him that hard. And she's like, yeah, but this is a real battle. And he was pissing me off. It looks like she was kind of annoyed that Asta stayed conscious once Ichika got a direct hit on him. Ryu is also saying, few in the country can actually stay conscious after being getting hit. It goes to show you that Ichika is something else. And also, she's probably not the strongest. There's people stronger than her. And Ryu's like, Asta has more to show us. Ichika's just like, stop laughing. That's basically the end of Black Clover 340. It's a quick display of strength and how Asta still needs to train more to get stronger. But this is all interesting to me. I loved it. But yes, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think about this video. Do you think that what Ichika said about foreigners possibly bringing disaster is somewhat of a foreshadow? How do you think Asta's gonna be after he learns all this? I know he's gonna be a beast, but how he's going to apply this, like when he uses his swords? What are your thoughts? Let me know what you think about Asta and him learning this new technique. Do you think Asta is gonna be able to have some powerful physical attacks as well when he eventually master Ki? Do you think Asta, when he doesn't attack, he's gonna be able to split the heavens in a way? If it's anti-magic, do you think Ryu is stronger than Ichika? Do you think Ryu is stronger than the 7 Ryuzen? Like if you liked the video, comment, subscribe, and I'm out of here.